Hi everybody, it's Chris here from the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. Just to let you know, as always, this podcast is now part of the 90-Minute Football Network and proudly sponsored by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the GallowgateShots YouTube channel and the Always Smiling Faces podcast. Degger, 3 games in a row you get to do this, mate.
It's getting old now. Like,
say those magical 4 words that everybody's been waiting to hear.
well, won you know? Get in. Get in there, lads.
What? What a turnaround. Like 3 games, 3 wins, unbeaten in 5. We didn't expect this, like, did we?
Well, I don't think my and Mark Health can take another win. I think we need to lose or something here just to calm down. Like, no, but I totally agree. I mean, you know, you've only got to go back. It feels, a few weeks, really. It feels a few weeks, and I didn't really know where the next win was coming from. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, we're sitting here now and 3 in a row and unbeaten in 5 and out the relegation zone. And it's just unbelievable feeling. It really is. It really, really is.
Wins just increase everybody's confidence, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, you could see it on the pitch. Everybody, it wasn't the greatest of games, but they all really dug in and wanted to win the game by graft rather than, you know, outplaying the opposition. And they did that. They put the work in, and for me, they just wanted it more, and they got the reward at the end.
We done our match preview on, was it Friday night we recorded? Saturday. We went live. There was me, you, Ian, and Harry. And we're all pretty confident. Not overly confident, I would say, but saying on the back of the results that we've just had, then you're probably looking to take at least a point from the game. I think would have been disappointed with anything else. But like you said, Mark, Villa just didn't want it as much as what we did. And that's down to the not just the new arrivals, but the squad that were there beforehand as well, because everybody stepped up like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of the talk, obviously, before the game was around the Brazilian in midfield and how he was going to, be fantastic on the day, and wasn't Joe Linton. Just wasn't he? But no, like, literally, Coutinho, like, did very little other than maybe the first 10, 15 minutes when they looked pretty decent. But then our middle 3 in the midfield just totally busted. They were breaking everything up. They were winning the balls. They were pressing on the front foot, and that's what really dragged us into the game. And that work rate and effort from there really dictated how we then approached the game.
I've honestly, I've banged the drum so many times with you, even just me and you, Chris, about 3 in midfield. How many times have I said, we just need an extra man in the middle, I think. And since we've done that over the last few games, you can see the difference. It gives us more solidity. It's correct, right, isn't it? And Bessie's not here. He's the one with the good words.
He's the vocab.
Yeah. I've had too much to drink for vocab, like. But no, like, you know, and I totally agree. Joe Linton again, man. God, just what an unbelievable transformation this has been.
Absolute animal.
Oh,
absolute
yeah,
animal.
Animal. Like, he seems to pop up over the pitch all over the place. You know, his energy is unbelievable, but he can take the ball off anyone. Like, it doesn't. There
was a point in the second half, it was, where he wins the ball, then he passes it to the left. Then, so I don't know who it was, but they lost the ball. Then it came back to Julian. He went back and got the ball.
Yeah,
and then he sprayed it to the right hand side.
That's right. He did a lovely ball out as well.
Who is this player?
Yeah, he's it's unbelievable, the transformation. And you know, I also think I don't think I've seen Shelby play as well, consistently well, can I say? You know, over the 5, maybe 6 games that we've had, Shelby's been outstanding. Willock, I mean, I thought Willock was brilliant again. Grew into the game, similar to the last 2 performances. Grew into it, you know, as time went on. Full of energy, full of running, breaking from midfield. And obviously, you know, by having 3 in midfield, it can give Willock that license a little bit more, because obviously we're not relying on him so much to be defending at times. But honestly, like, it's just, I agree with Mark. I mean, it wasn't the greatest of games, but we would have lost that game maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah,
I agree. We wouldn't have won. So yeah, but brilliant, really, honestly, brilliant. Sign of a good team if you can win and play bad, isn't it? So
it is, yeah. So it wasn't a great game, and I said that on the match preview. I said it's not going to be a great game. It's going to be scrappy end to end, and it was.
The referee didn't help it in the second half,
Jesus.
like, did he? I mean, he kept constantly stopping the game, giving little. I mean, he seemed to give for that period after they had their massive spoiler alert here. After they had their goal disallowed as well, jumped massively forward. He gave every single little niggle he was pulling up, and everything was just going their way.
It felt as if he was feeling sorry for them. I felt as if
it was almost as if he was trying to make amends for the goal being disallowed. He said, I'll give them this, I'll give them that, and it just really, really spoilt that second half.
I never understand that, because surely it's easier just to give it at the home side. If you're unsure on a decision, just give it the home side. There was one in the Gallowgate where we were convinced it was a goal kick, and the ref, he stumbled for a little bit, didn't know what he was going to do. Then he pointed at the corner. I'm thinking, surely the easiest decision there, if you don't know, is just to put it out for a goal kick.
There's a funny one with certain refs. You'll see some refs will let the little things go, and that makes a lot more of a more exciting game, but more end to end. Whereas he was pulling up everything, and once you pull up one or two, well, then you've set the standard. Then and it's every single time.
I think it was the 3rd minute mark. We started breaking down the left, and I can't remember who it was. Might be insane that just got clattered on the left hand side. And then the referee, he obviously gave the free kick, but he didn't book him there. And I'm thinking, you started already here. I thought at that point, we were saying, if this is 20 minutes later, he's getting booked right there.
It was really early, wasn't it?
And those players getting booked for challenges which were barely free kicks. And poor Chris Wood, every time he was getting fouled, every time he went up for the ball, the referee was just waving on. Same as Saint. Another time Saint got fouled.
Yeah, he did. Obviously,
wasn't his best game, Saint?
No, he was poor, very poor. Worst I've seen him by any stretch. He was dreadful, but he still had the odd glimpse at times. But I felt as if I thought Matty Cash did a great job on him. He's a good player as well, actually, to be fair. And that happens in football, doesn't it? Where it just doesn't work.
Once again, that's a sign of a great team when the likes of your key players, likes of Saint Maximum, has a. I wouldn't even say a poor game.
He just couldn't get into the game. He couldn't get into the game.
Yeah,
like whenever the ball was going to him, when he was trying to take on players, like he couldn't get, like you say, he couldn't get past Cash. Cash had a great game. He'd run into a dead end, and his passes weren't coming off and stuff like that. And you could see he was getting more and more frustrated because he started doing that thing of when he stays down on the floor too long and appealing and that kind of thing. So you could see he was getting more and more frustrated, which again probably then leads to him to that. A bit of a vicious circle because it then affects his performance.
Well, there's still a couple of chances that Saint created once again where he's picking the ball up out of nowhere and running across the middle of the goal.
Yeah, the first half, he very hardly touched the ball at all, if I'm being honest. And we got it out wide of him once, and he had Matty Cash and another lad on him, and he went to the byline and crossed it. He just beat them both, no problems at all. And I was actually really pleased he went to the byline because I know sometimes for me he comes in inside too much and it's a little bit predictable. Obviously, sometimes when he's flying at pace, it's very difficult to stop anyway. But yeah, I mean, he didn't have the greatest of games by any stretch. But I just want to comment on someone behind him until he went off. I thought Mankio, he was absolutely fantastic filling in at left back, and because Matty Cash was getting forward a lot, and I didn't think Maxi was following him. And to be fair, I didn't see how even instructing Maxi to follow him, which I found a bit strange. It was as if he was all right with him staying up there, and I wasn't so sure about it.
Well, in fairness, that was happening on both sides, that's Villa's game plan is they want to use their full-backs and wing-backs as the people that create the chances. So they were staying out very wide and getting forward as much as possible. Wide, and because we did have the three in the middle, and then you've got Fraser and Saint on the other side, that when they're getting maybe dragged a little bit into it or covering their wider players, it then leaves their two fullbacks, and it did cause a bit of problems early on. But then we got to grips with it a bit more as the game progressed. And again, down that right hand side, just Trippier and Fraser, that link up, the work rate from the pair of them is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I love the press from. It always seems to be Joe Linton, and then it'll be Fraser, where they're just hovering. They're not really around the player, but as soon as the ball is passed, woof, Fraser, Joe Linton pushes right up from midfield. Fraser's onto him, and that just gets you up the field, doesn't it? Almost immediately, and puts him under pressure. And Fraser constantly putting that press on all the time. It's absolutely amazing. Like
that's what brought Willock into the game as well, because he did start off a bit slowly. Like he wasn't great at the beginning, but then as we started getting a bit of a foothold into the game, I say we're probably weathered maybe the first 15 minutes with Fraser pushing up on the right. Then Willock was going with him, and he was then kind of being that man that was closing down, doing the pressuring and stuff like that. So his pressures on the ball for the weekend, these stats were ridiculous because he was just constantly pushing on them.
What chances came from? Well, Wood had a few off chances, and they came from them losing the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I say them losing the ball. I would say us putting them under pressure is probably the better term. And you know, there was one that I remember really stands out of us was when Wood had a shot, where he could have maybe slipped in Fraser, and again we won the ball back. Wood just blazed it over, but he could have rolled in Fraser. There was a one where again we won it back, and Fraser whipped it in early. And Wood went with his head, but unfortunately he went the glancing header, which is let's be fair, it's what Wood wants, right? He's going to want crosses, you know what I mean, and hopefully we can give him some more.
Just sticking on Chris Wood there. There's been a comment saying that Chris Wood's got to stop performing, or he loses his place in the squad. But I think we're under the same impression. I would have thought we mentioned this last week that he's always going to struggle. He is. Chris Wood is probably used to playing with two up top, and he is winning the headers. I think, was it like 80% of his headers or something ridiculous like that he won? But they're not going to anybody else. But you can see he's flicking those heads on.
Well, I said that to you at the game, didn't I? Says, look, he's winning his headers, and that's why he's got them good aerial duel stats that keep getting bandied around. But they weren't going anywhere. But then they made a change in the second half, and they started playing a slightly different where Saint was just coming off him, and it actually started working better for him because rather than trying to get a little flick on behind, he was almost cushioning it off or laying it to the side, and he was picking it up more. But I've seen a few comments like this about Wood saying that he's not great, and you know what's he bringing to the team? He's not scoring goals, and it's almost that same argument that we've heard time and time again. We had it with Joe Linton. Well, he's not scoring goals. He's not getting assists. You know, going even further back than that, Hostelou, etc.
So you suggest we'll play Chris Wood in midfield?
No, because yes, he isn't scoring the goals, but when you look at what he's doing, his work rate off that ball is pulling defenders left, right, and centre. He's running across them. He's creating spaces, and that's what is then allowing the likes of Willock to get up and support Joe to get up there. Even Shelby a couple of times got forward. So yes, as a striker, he's going to be, you know, almost marked on how many goals he scores. But you've got to look at the wider performance and not just look at that headline of has he scored a goal.
So do you think he played well yesterday?
I wouldn't say he played well. He wasn't like outstanding, but I think he did. His work for the team and what he was doing with his pressure was good.
Okay, I don't know. I think he certainly works harder than I thought he would, because I thought he'd be a lot more. I remember the Watford game. I thought he was very, very, very static. You know, and I thought this could be a problem for our game plan. However, what I would say since then, since he's obviously bedded in the team and obviously Howe's giving him instructions, his work rate off the ball is great, isn't it? It is good. He is working hard. He's not the quickest of players. He's never going to be, but he's still working hard, you know, etc. I did feel sometimes he was quite sloppy in possession, even when he had done the hard work of bringing it down and then try to lay it off. It would either get stuck under his foot or I don't know.
He needs a confidence boost. He needs a goal, and that's when we thought we had the penalty. And Chris Wood's obviously got to hold the ball with him. This is exactly what he needs. He needs to score a goal. And I said to Mark, I went, "This is just Joe Lennon all over again." Remember when they won the penalty, then he missed it.
Yeah, I know.
I thought, this is Joe over again. This.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't have been too confident. Like, if I'm being honest,
I said, I don't even know who's going to take it.
Yeah.
We got the same point where who actually takes this one. Didn't really have a clue. Obviously, with Richie not being on the field, Wilson not being on the field, we're thinking who actually is a penalty taker. But obviously,
Joe. I mean, we know Joe's taking some.
Yeah, well, Shelby said he won't take any more, will he, Shelby? So there's one gone
after the cup one.
Yeah, he missed 2 or 3 in a row.
Lifting those penalties.
And he said he
Cher takes a nice penalty as well. So we had options there. It was just who is the person, because we haven't been in the situation where we haven't had a penalty taker or our penalty taker on the pitch. So
I know we're going to get onto this person probably a lot more as it goes on, but within, I think it felt as if it was the first minute or two, there was a long ball came across, and Dan Burn just calmly took it on his chest and then passed it along, and that he did that there, and I was like, "For fucking hell!" Like, because to be fair, Lascelles, I think would have just booted that or just put his head through it. The way he took it down, I thought, wow, that was a really nice opening touch for him. That, because there's a lot going into that game for him, you know, that because there was I only seen it after, like, but there was like an interview on Sky before the game, and he was saying like, "Oh, there's like 15 members of my family are here watching," and like, there's a lad sits down there who's my dad's mate, and he used to grief us all the time when I was playing for Brighton and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking like, there's a lot of pressure on you today. Like, they were also showing you stats that he hasn't really played in a back four. He normally always plays in a back three, and how will he handle a back four? And I thought, well, and my God, he was absolutely unbelievable.
Solid,
like
solid performance.
So good.
So you
So
talk about
good.
debuts. Obviously, we had Target's debut last week. Absolutely fantastic performance.
Yep.
Then we've had Dan Burns this week, and knew that when he got man of the match.
Yeah,
I would have argued that Joe Linton could have possibly stole that from him, because I thought Joe was fantastic.
Yeah, he was
throughout.
Yeah.
But
they were my two standouts. Like,
it's great, isn't it, when you're in the position? We've sat here months ago, but weeks ago, not just months ago, and thought, who the hell do we give man of the match to? Yeah, because they've all been pretty lifted and mountain, but you're stuck for choice at the minute.
I think as well for Burn, like, as I say, the pressure side of things in terms of what he came in to, how he was organising a lot as well. He was always organising, so calm on the ball, won everything in the air, won all of his duels. Like, I was blown away by it, to be quite honest with you. I really, really was. And I thought it's really nice that if we do get an injury in defence, I mean, of course we've had Fernandes, but let's be fair, right? He's coming there, and you know, it is an amazing option to have, where you think if you lose Lascelles or you lose Shea, we're not panicking. We're not panicking so much.
That's your next question. Another decent performance by Fabian Shea.
Oh, he was great.
Another great.
Got battered, like
fantastic debut from Dan Burn. Lascelles is missing because of an illness.
Yeah.
Does he come back into West Ham now? To me,
he shouldn't. Should he?
He doesn't.
No, just not on.
Even though he had a decent game against who did we win last week? I'm getting
Everton's
confused with all these wins. I think I want to do.
Everton's the problem, because he played
had a great game.
He was excellent. He was
But
excellent.
obviously, he misses that game, and do you then revert the team back after that performance?
I don't think you can after that. They just. I mean, I wasn't sure when we signed him that like what he was going to give. I didn't know if he was better than Fernandes, but he came in and gave that performance like that. And if he can keep that level and keep that consistency, then it'll be a brilliant bit of business.
He marshaled Watkins. Like, I think Watkins is a good player, you know.
Yeah.
And even when Ings came on, just nothing.
When Ings came on, did you go, oh, shit?
100%.
I think there was like a horrible groan in the stadium. Everyone just went,
oh, not him.
Oh.
You just think it's a nice option, isn't it? Off the bench side, it's a nice option. But I thought I thought Dan Burn was absolutely tremendous. Obviously, I thought Shea put a real. He was getting battered, you know. Like, he's bust open 1 minute. I mean, well, to be fair, it was Joe Linton. Was it Joe Linton that hit him? Who was it that hit him?
That was clash.
Was Joe Linton hit him?
Heads,
Didn't
wasn't it?
he? Like, hit him with his arm,
didn't he? Then it was about 10 minutes later. He went down again, and obviously was cut somewhere.
On his eye.
Shirt, and he had a bandage.
Well, he put a bandage on his head, and it wasn't
on his eyes, wasn't it?
It wasn't. Well, it wasn't. The cut was on his eye, but they put a bandage on his head, and it wasn't. It was over here, and the cut was there. So he was trying to pull it down, and I was like, "Oh, you can't even see out his eye now. That's pathetic."
Was Trippier hit him with an elbow?
Oh, it was. Sorry, it was Trippier. That's right. Yes, I hit him. But I thought Shea has been brilliant the last 3 games. I thought Leeds away, he was arguably man of the match at Leeds away. He was outstanding against Everton and again today. So we're starting to see probably the Shea that we've seen on that. How long has it been? On the Rafa, probably.
80 minutes.
Because I thought I love Shane, but then he went through a real bad spell in terms of making rash decisions. And I mean, he always has that in him, doesn't he? Being a bit too over aggressive, like. But no, like really, really good. But we are speaking a lot of good things here. But the performance itself, well, it had a lot to live up to because Everton was so good. Yeah. And I think it was nice that we've had wins back to back there in completely different ways. You know, we had Everton that I think was a great performance. Back to back, yeah.
A hat trick of wins.
But in the last 2, what I mean by that is within 5 days you've had 2 wins in total different styles. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which
that's another sign.
It's really good. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's great. Yeah,
it's
really
another
good.
one. And we used to get it all the time. Like, commentators and pundits used to talk about Manchester United and be like, they're a good team because they win ugly.
Yeah, because we ground that result out
100%. Yeah.
Because you go back not even months, weeks, and we don't win that game because we were under a lot of pressure in that second half. Obviously, they got the equalising goal that was then ruled out, which seeing that back.
Either way,
in the ground, it did look a way offside, but with the linesman not flagging, I was like, oh, is it just one of those optical illusion things? And then when the referee came back,
looked at the linesman, he looked at the linesman, and the linesman went
because he was like much further forward than the back line, but it was that then obviously when you see the replay, Kraft's just that little bit deeper over on the right side. But the longer that went on, I was saying like, oh, it's taking a long time. This one must be very, very close and very tight. And then he didn't even give the result, but the referee turned to the leaders.
Body language, give it away
straight away. Said offside.
Yeah,
and even before blown the whistle, and that was like it was.
I think as well. Obviously, Kraft come on, and I know we'll talk about Trippier for a while probably, but
another morning around St James's Park.
You could just see the difference, or not immediately, but I mean the goal itself. I mean, he gives the ball away, just pathetically down the line, tries to pass to someone that's not even there, and then the break, and then he's the one that is just in no man's land, and then obviously the goal comes, and you're thinking he's only been off the field 10 minutes, and we've got rinsed down that side of the field twice, and he was only off the field 10 minutes, so that's a huge problem.
I thought Kraft as well. I know he only played for the second half. But I think as the game went on again, he started improving his game as well. He was getting up, attacking.
He's really aggressive, isn't he, going forward? He's not scared of going forward. He's actually quite comfortable on the ball, to be fair to him.
First 2 games for Newcastle, he had those glorious opportunities on the 6-yard box.
Norwich and Liverpool. Yeah. He's not scared of going forward. I just feel defensively, he's just all over the place at times, whereas Trippier just brings that sheer calmness.
Similar to Yedlin.
Aye, to be fair.
Past the halfway line, but
without the pace, though.
Well, he's not slow.
He hasn't got the pace of Yedlin, though, is he?
No, well, not many people haven't, but he's not slow. No, he's not slow by any stretch. And I will have to try and give him some credit, is if he sees the space in front of him, he's not afraid to push into that. And that is, I don't mind that.
Let's compare that with the left-hand side of our defence in the second half.
I just want to say thanks to Josh. I'll put it on screen there. Josh has donated once again. Thank you very much, Josh.
Cheers,
means a lot to us. He says, "Hey lads, hope you are all well. I bet Degger isn't used to saying those famous words consistently. It's been a breath of fresh air watching us play a nice football again. Burn was outstanding and had one of the best debuts I can remember."
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
When
we're in the Champions League, I'll be seeing it twice a week, every week. Imagine in the Champions League every week, twice a week, Wednesday, Saturday.
You're seeing it outside Wembley.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Someone's going to cut this part and bury one in about 2 years' time.
There was a chant when we're coming out of the ground, and the chant was, yeah. Like as soon as we're leaving the ground. Amazing. But somebody else I want to touch on, Dubravka. Absolutely nothing to do.
Listen, this is something I've been saying for a while. Like in the last 3 or 4 games, he hasn't really had to do much. Really,
had that one where he caught it and dropped it.
Yeah, it was all right though. It was okay. I also do you think he took a fake injury there? I think he did, because we were really under the cosh. Eddie Howe was trying to get instructions onto the field. He couldn't get them onto the field. And next thing you know, we're going to go kick, and Dubravka just felt the floor and went, my foot's hurting. And then he went, right, everyone come here. I want you 5 at the back on this.
I found that quite ironic, because as you've just said, he had very little to do, but he went down with cramp.
Yeah, he was holding his foot, and then he took the goal kick, and he was fine off that. I'm thinking, I wonder if you've sat down there to allow Howe to give the instructions.
If it's a tactical thing like that, then you want your goalkeeper to go up, because he doesn't have to leave the field.
100%. You can't carry on, can you? Type of thing. So
it was strange, wasn't it? He was just like, all of a sudden, get the ball and then puts it down, and then the next thing you know, I was like, because I initially thought, God, has something hit, like, has somebody thrown something at him and it's hit him and he's gone down?
That's a canny throw for Villa fans. Chuck that, like.
Well, apparently it was happening a lot on Sunday with things being thrown.
Was it?
So I've seen today, but it would be quite a throw for that to happen. But it was just the way that he suddenly just hit the deck.
How many times we sat here, and not just when we used to record in the Ashley, and said we need the team to be ruthless, and we saw where players were wiping other Villa players out, just being tactical, right? Saying, right, they're on the break, foul them.
It was a classic with Joe.
He could have gotten booked 3 times for that one. He had 3 bites at the cherry there. Like,
was it Martinelli that got booked?
It was a good job. It's good job it wasn't Michael Oliver. Wasn't
I thought Joe Yorgo twice, and even Dan Burn, he rips Mings' shirt off, half his shirt,
clean off,
and he goes to give it to somebody in the lasers.
To be fair, though, that was
Mings'
fault, though, that his shirt got ripped. But yes, he had a hold of it, but Mings did like a spinny pirouette thing. So he pulls away, which is what
it was a clean rip, like, wasn't it?
Just pulling his shirt.
It was unreal,
like a square over his shirt.
Because that was a
bit that's sewn along the bottom, but below the panel kind of thing.
That was another one. Like, Mings just absolutely clattered Burn in the back, you know, and then obviously Burn reacted and got straight back up, and they were just tussling, you know, but then obviously it got a bit out of hand. Like, but
this is what the likes of what we've witnessed over the last few weeks, though, is the likes of Joe Linton's a perfect example where he's just turned in an absolute shithouse, where he's not scared of anyone. He's got this attitude and this swagger about him, and I love to see it. And Mankiw was kicking off at somebody in our box when we had a corner. Was it? Were we defending or attacking?
Yes. Was the one with the
just before
there was hell on that corner. Hell on.
Just scuffles left, right, and centre, all over the shot. Was that their number 10?
And it was Coutinho, number 10.
No, it's not.
The other one.
I forgot his name.
The one that you said's a little twat.
He's a twat. Like
one year.
Might be him.
Tim.
He was a nuisance, left, right, and centre.
Them corners, like they did worry us, if I'm honest. The delivery wasn't great on any of them, but it was before they were taking them. They literally just had the world around Dubravka, literally, and the idea was
it was like 3 corners in a row, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was like,
when they had that,
and we did really well to defend them. We did really well, because I was worried the way they were setting them up, and I thought, God, they're just sitting on Dubravka's head here, basically.
Well, there was one of them where I think it was maybe Willock on the back post having the tussle, and their player went down. I was like, is this?
There was no in it, like, honestly.
It's just you always have that worry,
of course, no, you're right.
With VR, whether or not that it's, you know, something's going to get involved there to say that something's happened, especially when you just see somebody go down like that. But there was loads and loads of pushing and shoving, and you know that was one of the things that VR was meant to stamp out was all of this nonsense going on in the box. But that certainly wasn't happening, because it was like both ways. You couldn't look at it and say one was fouling, you know, somebody's fouling them. It was very much 50-50s pulling.
You got to listen. You when you've got pretty much, I mean, God, at time it looked like there's about 20 people in the box, man. Like, there's gonna be pushing and shoving. There's going to be, isn't there? It's just the way it is. But again, though, like, you know, some of that when we got Eddie Howe in, a lot of people were worried about his defensive record, or he leaked a lot of goals at Bournemouth. And if you go across, I mean, I'll take the Leicester one out. I'll try and be nice. Take the Leicester one away because we got battered. I think the last 5 games. We've only conceded 1 goal or none. You know, we've never conceded more than 1. You know what I mean? And Leeds was a clean sheet. Yesterday was a clean sheet. Only 1 against Everton. Like, I personally think as a unit, and we'll look so much organised. Everyone knows exactly what the job is.
That's probably why Dubravka isn't under any pressure whatsoever, because he's got that solid defence in front of him.
Honestly, like before, we used to be winning games. We'd go, oh, thank God for Dubravka. He was pulling off 3s, 4s, and 5 saves a game. And now, honestly, he's not doing anything really, which is what you want, of course. You don't want him to do anything, but other than some pressure, there was pressure yesterday. There wasn't necessarily like, oh God, he should have scored there, or what a save from Dubravka.
I can remember having to make a save.
You what, sorry?
I can't remember him having to make a save. Like, he came out and took the ball a couple of times and stuff like that, but
I can't remember.
I can't remember him having to, like, you know, really, other than the corners and stuff like that.
And that was when they were obviously banging on saying Villa had 70-odd% possession over the last 20 minutes of the game or whatever. But it didn't matter, like, because I was like, they're not doing anything with it. They had no game plan. In the second half, let's be fair, right? They were. I'm jumping now. We'll get the goal in a second. I'm sorry. They were by far, you have to admit, the better side, right? But after the first 10-15 minutes of that second half, they had no idea how to break us down.
Yep.
And we were just quite happy to go, well, come on then, if you can, you know what I mean? And they couldn't. But now to go to the first half, did you think it was a penalty in real time? I'm guessing.
Where Gallowgate strawberry corner, so it looks like it's in the box all day long. Obviously.
Brilliant from Willock, wasn't it? In terms of, you know, lovely touch from. It was really nice that the touch from Maxi. I think it might have been Wood to then Maxi, and he just does one touch to Willock, and woof, Willock was away. And I thought it was a penalty. And he did it really well, Willock, to be fair. I love seeing one of our midfielders in that position. One of our centre midfielders, you know, burning through on goal type of thing, you know. And I thought it was a penalty.
Well, watching it real time, when we looked at it, we went down and everybody appealed, but the referee just seemed to take
ages
to go. And I'm saying, well, maybe was he just like,
maybe that's what he was trying to figure out. Is it a free kick?
Well, that's it. Was he thinking? Was it in? Was it out? I'm not quite sure.
If he gives a free kick there, do VR step in and go, it was in the box penalty?
I think they probably would, actually. I think they would. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but I think they would. Now, having said that, maybe he said penalty for it to go to VAR. Maybe he wasn't sure, so he's went for penalty, knowing then VAR will check it.
Yeah.
And it's a funny one, though, isn't it? Like, because when they didn't give the penalty, and it wasn't one, I was like, oh, man. But I still thought we're in a good position here. Like, it's right on the edge of the box. And I think everyone was wanting Trippier to take. Because I know Shelby was over it as well, but everyone wanted Trippier to take.
Well, Mark said straight away, this is a bit too close.
A bit too close.
Well, the actual to Shelby's.
The actual words were, it'll take a miracle to score from here because it was that close. It was literally on the line. You can't get it up and over the wall from that.
It's got to be like a Shearer.
That distance.
That's
so you've got to blast it.
Smash it.
But then obviously they had one line on the floor behind the wall,
that's
so you couldn't hit it along the floor.
And
they then had the one kneeling down at the side, which thankfully that's what then went in our favour, was him kneeling down. And obviously we put a couple Joe and somebody else on the end of the wall to kind of block the keeper's view. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking, God, and that's why I thought, is he going to maybe just knock it for Shelby to then hit it like through? But I mean, how he finds that gap just to get it round the wall where it is and going in, as we know, it takes a little deflection off the knee.
Yeah, we'll get
Fabian. I think it's Fabian Shea that just drops the shoulder and runs out of the way.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's him. Then obviously it just takes that slight deflection on the thigh, isn't it, or the knee?
Yeah, I thought it was poor from who was it? Was it that did that? Who was? Or did you mention his name?
I think it was.
I can't remember.
I think it might have been Bondier again.
Well, I thought it was very strange of him to do. He was almost hiding behind Shea and.
Well, he was down on his knee to protect the keeper's left corner.
Yeah,
which was exactly what the free kick Shelby scored, where we just drilled along the floor into the opposite corner.
Yeah.
So he was trying to block that, wasn't he?
Obviously, when then Trippier had the shot, I watched you guys move. Obviously, that's the job. Yeah. Then that ball is just on him. It's just on him, and obviously he just tries to react. For me, if he just stands in the water, if he stands with Shea and Joelinton to the left of it, he can see the ball coming. He can block the side that he's worried about. I have no idea why he's standing behind them, almost trying to like. Oh, it was just really strange. It was really strange.
All on the same impression where it was going to be Shearer-esque, where someone's just going to roll it off, and everybody thought Shelby was just going to smash that the way Shelby was standing. But thank God that's back-to-back free kicks.
I know, mad, isn't it?
So it's the second time that has happened as well.
Ryan Taylor did the first one, I think. Yeah. Ryan Taylor done the first one, but obviously the win comes with a bit of a kick in the cock, like.
A couple, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, apparently Mankiw isn't as bad as what they think. Mankiw should be all right. But
to be fair to him, he took a fair few clatterings because I think he'd been down about 3 times before he actually.
Have you seen the one that he went off for? Really? Have you seen the one? What happened? He had to extend his ankle. He went up for a head and he
comes down and he lands funny, isn't it? But there was because he'd had treatment twice before that. Before that happened as well, so
but obviously Trips is a it's just it was only on the field 2 minutes in the second half, and like you just can't believe it even happened.
It's
like
a to go with Coutinho apparently, and
right.
That's all that it is. Nothing malicious about it or anything like that. It's just
I think just stands on his foot, doesn't he?
I mean, now what the boots are like these days. It's just awkward.
Is it metatarsal? Like, is it one of them? Is it
fifth metatarsal?
Yeah, fifth. So he's obviously straight to hospital. When he goes off the field, scans straight away, then he returns to St. James's Park wearing a boot before full time.
In a moon boot.
And when we saw the protective boot, we thought, right, maybe it's not as bad as what the first thought. It might be all right, but he's going to be missing a chunk of games now. Like
it'd be about 5 or 6 weeks, won't it? To be fair,
just make the last 3 results that more crucial.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's a huge miss. Like I mean, he's transformed, hasn't he? To be fair, one man, he's transformed in more ways than even I expected. I mean, we all knew he would bring something, certainly leadership. He'd certainly make we're better in that position. He'd certainly make we're stronger defensively. But he's also given more goals. And
so you put a tweet out earlier today, just saying it's really frustrating to have picked up the injury yesterday. We've built some momentum, and long may that continue. I will remain positive and work as hard as I can on my rehab to be back as fit as and quickly as possible. Thank you all. For your very kind messages of support. But he also mentioned in another post that he's going to be sticking around and helping the rest of the lads out as well. And that's what we need right now.
Yeah. He's a positive influence, isn't he? He brings a real winner's mentality, a high-level professional around the place. And you can just see, like when we score and that kind of thing, he's like, obviously he's been right in the middle of the last 2 because he scored the goals, but he's always there, right in it. He's got that relationship with Fraser on the pitch, and it appears that he's got a really good one with him off it because he's constantly taking the piss out of him and stuff like that. And he's just really kind of gelling the team together. And it just, obviously he had the armband on it Sunday as well. But he really is captain material, isn't he? And just everything that he brings.
I couldn't tell you the last player that came in. I thought, right, you get this. Like, he's just taking it all. And maybe it's a current situation where with the new ownership and things like that. But he says everything in the correct manner when he's talking about the club, the fan base, just everything.
Yeah, the way he leads on the field is something I've been really impressed with. Like in terms of those around him where maybe the game's, I'm not saying getting away from or we're getting under pressure. He is the one you can see that is calming people down, grabbing people. For example, that one about that scuffle in the corner there. You know,
afterwards he took them all one side.
He was literally grabbing them, going, "Shut the fuck up, move away, I'll sort it out." Like he's just hands on. Do you know what I mean? And he's obviously got the respect of everyone because of what he's done compared to the level that the players that we have. We're out last night for the Super Bowl, and my mate Emma said. He was mortal. If he's watching, he's absolutely mortal.
Adam said he was mortal.
He was mortal.
He was mortal before I seen him going into the match.
So he took ages to get this question out, but he said, when was the last time we signed a player that you felt was like, I'm going to give you what Adam's answer was, right?
You stole my tweet.
No, I don't know.
I
don't know. What was it?
My tweet was, when was the last time we signed a world-class player like Trippier that could walk into a European side?
It was word for word that, Emma, wasn't it? So your Adam said Cabaye. Now I said, well, that can't be because when we signed Cabaye, he was no one. I know he became what he was. So what?
Well, there was a few shouts because
I'll tell you when the last time was.
Well, I'll go through them. Well,
fucking insane.
a lot of the comments on the feed. So people that didn't hear, the question was, when was the last time we signed a world-class player? Before Trippier, and the definition was world class, which we decided in the pub was somebody
the place you decide things like that.
Of course, best places. A player that could walk into any team that secured European football, whether that be Europa or even better, Champions League. A lot of shouts and comments were the likes of Wijnaldum, Cabaye, and I thought, were they world class when they came into it?
No.
Obviously, they went on afterwards.
Yeah. Wijnaldum was, to be fair.
Could you walk into another European side like that? I think would they not have done that then?
I think he would have went into a Europa League team. He was playing regularly for Holland.
Would you say world class?
No way.
It depends.
If you forget his time at Newcastle,
what level
you're thinking prior to that. Why would he come to Newcastle?
It's come to the Premier League, isn't it? That's
yeah, but I think again the question is, Trippier could have went to Man United. Really, I mean, Man United were linked with him. And for example, you know, when we've sat here and we felt so lucky to get Trippier, right? We were like, we couldn't believe we had him. I was very happy with signing Gini, but I wouldn't say I felt lucky because I had never really seen him play. I didn't. Whereas we all know Trippier, don't we? You know what I mean? He played. He's been playing for England recently. He's an international. He's been playing in the Champions League. Except he's won the league. He's been in Team of the Year in La Liga. Like, so I got the question. So I was really racking my brains, and the name that kept coming up, and to be fair, and again, people will go, "Oh, he was shite." Probably Michael Owen. Like
that was the same one that we came up with as well.
I think it's probably Michael Owen in terms of being. Oh, Michael Owen was world class, man. He's even Real Madrid for Christ's sake. Like, he was absolutely unreal.
That was,
and I know it didn't work out great here, but
we mentioned and Jonathan Woodgate.
I actually said Woodgate, and then Emma said, "Oh no, I actually Owen," but I said Woodgate. But
there's an all shouts of people saying like Demba Ba, but he wasn't world class.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't when he came to us. Like, yes, he had a fantastic time playing for Newcastle United. Of course, he did. But
we're sending him on a free. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
That
like,
club wouldn't want to touch him because of his knee.
Yeah.
The famous Tony Pulis quote. But
world class. Would you not think that's why we signed him though?
Yeah, but he wasn't world class.
No, but that's the thing. He wasn't world class. So, come on, Mark. Demba Ba's not world class. Come on.
To us, yes, but to the football world, no.
You're almost saying that these players didn't have any career before they came to Newcastle.
They did.
They were international players, like playing for big clubs before they came here.
No, I can't give you that one for Demba Ba. I'm sorry, like I can't.
So Demba Ba didn't have a good career until he came to Newcastle.
Not a world class career.
Wasn't world class. Like didn't play in Europe, did he? Didn't play in the Champions League. Didn't play out.
Unless with this Michael Owen one and stuff like that, then you're looking at ones that are like right at the top.
That's what we're saying
of the game here. But it's But what you're saying is players that can go into a European, like into a club team and play like in Europa level.
Probably
and
Demba
stuff
Ba
like
got
that.
relegated with West Ham.
He did,
he did. But
Surely you're not saying Dembaba was the same quality as Trippier coming in.
No, what I'm saying is,
and I am not knocking Dembaba. I absolutely love Dembaba, but I'm on about a level of signing, a grab, and a pull that we've managed to get.
Ashfaq's done a mint show
there. No, Ashfaq.
Saying if we're talking about international players, Jeff Hendrick was an international player.
Not a very good one.
But no, you're saying international, and the point, obviously.
No, but what I mean is, like, particularly Wijnaldum, from the career that he'd had in Holland, he was a regular Dutch international and stuff like. He was probably more of a rising star at that rather than
I think
an
the
established top
one
level
is
player.
Probably borderline, but to me, and it pains it to say it, it probably is Michael Owen.
Yeah. If you're looking at superstar level, from a name point of view and that kind of thing, and being in England international and that kind of thing, then yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
green on that one.
I think so. Yeah, it was a really interesting conversation, man, yesterday. Like, because he didn't say the question particularly that way at first, and I said
slurred it.
Yeah, he slurred it a lot. Yeah, and I think I can't remember what I said. I'll not say what I said, but yeah, and then obviously we got talking, and someone said Michael Owen. I said Woodgate, and he said Michael Owen. I was like, actually, you're probably bang on there. Like, so it's a long time ago, basically. Yeah. It's a long time ago. That's the point of the story, really.
If anybody else in the comments has got anybody that they can think of after Michael Owen that was a world-class player that came to Newcastle, a few shouts for Bruno. We've already said him. Definitely. It was the first name which Mark said.
Nicky Butt.
No, that was mentioned. Nicky Butt was mentioned because he had a mint World Cup, and he was.
He's that. Like, obviously, he was in. I agree. Again on the come down in his career, but he was at that level, wasn't he? Before he came here.
I'm sure, was it not?
I'm not sure if I'm giving you Nicky Butt. Like.
No.
I'm clutching at straws, but.
No, honestly, it's not
that same sort of thing of having a good career,
really
a big name, at a big club.
He had an unreal World Cup,
a huge amount of
I'll give Colaccini a shout. Once again, fantastic player for Newcastle, but I'm not putting him in the world class bracket.
Yeah, he got Argentinian caps and stuff like that, but he didn't get that many once he came here.
He did not win the Olympics with Argentina. I'm sure he did. I might just made that up. No,
yeah, I'm sure he did. I did love him at us, but again, when we signed him, I didn't know anything about him. Really.
A shout for Patrick Kluivert, but once again, end of his career.
To be fair, I said Kluivert as well. I did say Kluivert because again, it was a name, but maybe he was just over the. I mean, Trippier's not a young lad here, but Kluivert was just maybe too far the other way. Maybe just too far.
Too far, you mean?
No, not too far. Yeah, I actually think he got a lot of shit. I thought personally, I think he was alright, to be quite honest. But
I can't see any other ones. Ben Arthur, but not giving me Ben Arthur. Not even close. Ben Arthur, yes, great for us. Absolutely moments of magic, but not a world class player.
No.
Could have been.
Didn't want to be. Yeah. But I think majority of people are saying Ginny. If you're going to pick anyone in most recent years, and that's probably because of the international career which he had opened.
He was a very good player when he was over in the Dutch league. That's why he was saying that was why there were so many people interested in him. But it probably wasn't that superstar name. That's probably why it's.
Michael Owen was one hell of a sign. How were you? I know we're talking stupid here, but I was absolutely buzzing when we signed him. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like,
just because he wouldn't be able to score against ever again.
Good point.
Until he left and went to Man United.
Good point.
There's a couple of shouts for Martins. Was he in there?
I was. He's mint on pairs, like he was fast as fuck. No, I did love Martins, but again, he was not Lua, though, was he? He was good, like I did love him, like, but again, the world class. It's I don't know. He was good. He was good though. He was good. I have to be fair.
And I was excited. Class.
He is, without any doubt. Yeah, without any doubt. But it was a really interesting conversation. It was really, and then obviously to go back. Well, for how long has it been on? Maybe 20 odd years. I don't know how long it's been coming. I know 20 years or something. It's a long time, right? So it was because someone said Shearer. Someone said, and I was like, well, that's what then got us on to Owen. If I'm honest, when he said Shearer, I was like, well, you'd have to say Owen then, wouldn't you?
Few shouts with Damien Duff.
I was another player. I was buzzing when I got him, man.
Where was signing from?
Chelsea, yeah. That's a good shout, Leon Duff. That's
Duff
a good
is
sign.
a shout, to be fair.
It really is.
I think Duff ahead of Wijnaldum.
You know what I'd say so, 100%. What? No, 100%.
For world class?
100%. Won the league with Chelsea, man. He had won the league, hadn't he, by then? 100%.
Jeremy.
In terms of that excitement name, in terms of what he had done.
We're talking about that, Jeremy.
Oh, God, aye.
We could go on. A couple of shows for Debussy.
And I went down that season, right? But there was a few collection of players. You mentioned Nicky Butt. There was Scott Parker, who I remember I'm not saying he's world class. I'm just saying I was excited by Damien Duff. I was really excited for what. Then I think we had Even Viduka didn't know who I thought was good as well, and more shit. But there was a few names in that team where you think, oh, something there.
That's the thing. It was just it was individuals, wasn't it? It never really clicked and gelled together into the performance.
Yeah.
So
what we'll go on now for the last 15, 20 minutes, if people do want to send some questions, and we'll go through as many as we possibly can. People who are watching tonight who aren't subscribers to the channel, you'll realize that you can't comment. Turn it off. So if you want to comment, have a chat with us, subscribe. That's all you have to do. Just click subscribe. That's it.
Easy done, isn't it? Easy done.
If you do want to become a member, even better, you do get access to the Telegram group, which we'll always mention. You do get early access to futures as well. Future videos. I'll finish that sentence. Once again, the Telegram group at the weekend, Mark. Ridiculous.
Well, I had to mute it early yesterday because I
muted just before
I was going to a christening in the morning, so I knew I was going to be out for a long time. I didn't actually think I was going to be out as long as I was.
Turn up a match in a suit,
but
just for the occasion.
I came straight from had a christening in the morning, and then obviously the do after that. So then I had to come straight to the match from there, and the results encouraged us to stay out later than I planned. So
that's what I say. It's madman, isn't it? Because we're not used to winning, and when we do, we're like, oh, well, I need to celebrate this because when's the next one going to be? And then we've had 3 in about a week.
I regretted my choices this morning when my alarm went off at work.
I went out, obviously out for the Super Bowl after that, and I was absolutely shattered. Shattered.
Seeing Jules is in the chat. Seeing her. So her and a fella were up again for the weekend for the game. So
what do you say?
Jules joined us. Yeah, few members and subscribers actually. Mark Ritchie had a good chat with him in.
He's in the comments tonight.
In the old George, yeah.
Oh, did you see the lad got his pizza?
Oh, did he?
He got
Alex, garlic bread special.
So somebody messaged Daka last week. I think we mentioned this on the last recording. Saying that since they've been watching this YouTube channel and this podcast, that we always mentioned garlic bread special. So if you are new to this, ask somebody what a garlic bread special. We've described it so many times. But ask somebody in the comments; they'll tell you what it is.
Even extra time, I mentioned it on there.
Yeah, they do. Deca got a message off Alex, who is a member and a subscriber to the channel, saying that really wants a garlic bread special. We talk about it all the time on the podcast. Where's the best place in South Shields to get one?
He was coming through to South Shields.
He was actually driving to South Shields to come and get it.
So I sent him a photograph of the shop, like the front of it. I sent him the picture. Got to go to that one. And he upgraded.
Which one did you go?
I was
Golden Chippy?
Gills at the
Road?
No, the one at Nook. You know, the one at the Nook? Which is
Stop. Gills at the Nook. Okay.
And
Gills and Golden Chippy for me, very similar.
Yeah.
I could pick either
so
one.
When you say which one's Golden Chippy?
Stanhope Road.
Golden Chippy's top.
Which end of Stanhope Road? Which
way? At the end.
Chai end.
Just to the end.
Oh, okay, so the Chai end is the same owners as the Nook.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
but they don't take card payments.
No, they don't
do deliveries.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. So he upgraded though, and he did what I would have done. He went for a margarita special. So he didn't get a garlic bread special. He got a margarita special, which is just outstanding behavior. So
Alex, if you are watching, let us know what you felt like at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because it tastes delicious when you eat it, but Jesus Christ, you've got to shave your teeth.
Yeah, well, you do, and you also feel you've just got this table just here, like just lodged in your midriff.
I wish I'd got a garlic bread special last night when I left Cozy Joe's at stupid o'clock in the morning.
Drunken food, it's up there with the elite drunken food, but you feel as if you need to get the garden hose and just have it at the side of your bed.
Oh, it's totally right.
I felt like that anyway.
It's not the best, but it's an amazing moment at the time. I get one Saturday. Cannot wait.
Right. So thank you, Trev, who has become a member. I think you put that on the screen. Thank you very much. Deca, somebody's asking how many messages have you got in the Telegram group right now?
I'll have a look. I'm just watching
I
Steve
checked
Bruce
last week, so it'll not be that many.
I just think there might be.
I'm going to go 1,600.
Telegram, here we go. 2,500, well, 2,800.
Okay, I underestimated that slightly. If I was it not Tuesday,
it might be.
We'll check.
I can't remember.
Oh no, because we weren't in here on.
I can't remember.
Monday. It would have been Monday.
So first question is from the tune. Says, who is your captain for the next game if Lascelles doesn't start and Trippier being injured?
John Joe Shelby.
To be fair, I was surprised that it wasn't Shelby because he's the vice captain, isn't he? So it was interesting that it kind of bypassed him and went to Trippier.
He's like a vice now, isn't he? Like he's vice captain.
Vice of the vice captain.
It's weird, because I totally agree. You're right. Obviously, I think
that could be a decision that was made behind the scenes. That might not be Eddie Howe and the coaching staff doing that. That might have been Shelby saying, "I'm happy to be vice captain, but you're more captain."
Well, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Around the fact that we'd probably rather have him as as captain in there, and like we talked about, is he probably is that more of the on the field leader and stuff than you see.
So
you
who's
don't see that side of it from Shelby?
I think it has to be.
Any shouts for Dan Burn?
No, it hasn't been there long enough to even.
There's Trippier.
No, but I think the Trippier obviously came with.
I don't think he was captain at Brighton, though, was he?
Probably wouldn't have been. No. But yeah, we'll go with Shelby. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
For me anyway.
A few shouts for starting 11, but we'll cover
that
in. We'll.
Can you see Bruno getting on?
No,
I still can't. Like,
sounds ridiculous to say it. And somebody on the preview, when we done the preview, Mark, somebody said, "I can't believe he's not all saying that Bruno doesn't start. He's a star player that we brought in. He's not starting the game." As he.
No, I said I would start him. Like,
did you?
Yeah.
All right,
but and I'd still go with that. If 3 that's there, I would be taking Willock out.
Really?
I just, you can't drop any of them.
I don't change it.
No.
Yeah, I don't change it.
I think it sends a terrible message, to be honest, to those that are playing well. And listen, I know people will say, well, you want your best players on the pitch, but until them let him down, then you'll not get it again.
Yeah. Question in by Blue Moon Boy 1956 saying, what's the crack with suspensions? Are Joe Linton and Shelby out for West Ham? No.
It reset, didn't it?
January.
Yeah,
so reset in January, so no clean slate for them. So they will be playing. Next question from Mark Shafto that says, do we play wing backs against West Ham?
I think that depends on Manquillo being fit, doesn't it, really? If Manquillo's...
Oh, no, you could play Kraft and Target. I think it'll be fine.
Target's back, yeah.
You could do it.
Nah, I think if we're going to play a wing back,
bring Murphy.
That's what I'm thinking. Because in wing backs, I'm assuming it's me and go 3 at the back and play those.
Yeah,
there.
You'd have Shearless and
Murphy and it depends on, obviously Target's going to come straight back in at left back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Straight into there. So
God.
at least we haven't got that issue that we potentially had. So you're then waiting to see what happens with Manquillo, and then if he's fit, he goes in there. If it's a flat back 4 again, then you're probably looking at Kraft if he doesn't make it.
Yeah, the issue you've got if you do play wing backs is your midfield. That 3 that we've been talking about, that has to be broken up then, really. Because you can't.
You'd have to do 3-5-2 or 3, something along those lines to keep your 3.
I think you'd have 2 in the middle.
Your 2 there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think
so.
And again, you've played 4 at the back now for such a long time. We're playing this formation, and I mean, does he want to change it? You know what I mean? But then again, you've got to adapt to your opposition, haven't you? So I understand, But when we got Burn in, I did think we could play 3 centre halves. You'll have it. Shea could be the right hand side, and Burn could be the left, which would, I think is great. And the Target has more license to go forward as a wing back. It'll be interesting.
One thing that you don't really realise until you have him in there, but having a left-footed centre half playing that left hand side made a hell of a difference.
Yeah,
the amount of times that he was just comfortable and able to go out wide and just go out, whereas when you've got somebody that's right-footed at that side, it's just that little bit more awkward. So it just seemed to flow a lot better.
Well, that was why I love in the Robson. You remember we had Rob Lee in speed in the middle.
Yeah,
he had a right and left in the centre of the midfield, and you're totally right though. It just seems to be the balance, isn't it? It's about balance, isn't it? And it works perfectly.
So there's a comment there, and Mark just touching on the whole obviously dropping Willock thing, but I think we're all in agreement that we kind of want to see Willock and Bruno on the field at the same time to see what sort of partnership they can create. That's what I'm excited to see. And I'm hoping it's a long shot and a big shout, but Bruno is going to bring the best out of Willock, getting higher up the field and get the chances that he was getting last year.
But that comes at the expense of leaving Joe Linton out, doesn't it?
Or Shelby.
Exactly. Or Shelby.
See, everybody really wants to stick Bruno in this defensive midfielding position and
not necessarily
this role, getting him back there, but because that's everything as well. Or get Shelby out, get Bruno in. It's
a great decision to have.
It's a decision that I can't believe we're in. I
know.
I can't believe we've signed someone for 40 million and he can't get ahead of Shelby. Because everyone wants Shelby out, really. Not everyone, but I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like him.
We've signed 2 for 40 million.
True.
I think that's because of the lack of understanding of what he'll actually bring to the team. It's just saying, they just see this about. He doesn't play there.
Nah,
but where you put him.
But he's not a Willock either, though. He's not. But you're saying drop Willock, but that he's not going to give you what Willock gives you.
Only to give you I know it's only cameos, but if you look at the last 2 games where he has came on, he's been well up that pitch and arriving into the box, which yes and isn't his natural game. He's probably more along the lines of Joe, what he's been.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm not
going to say to you, I pretend I've seen Bruno play games left, right, and centre, because I haven't. But the clips which I have seen, he does look like that Joe Linton side, where he's just snapping at players, getting the ball, then moving the play up the field. But then I've seen other clips where yes, he is the likes of Joe Willock's positioning as well. Last one into the box. It's I don't know. I think Eddie Howe's got a tough decision to make, but I don't think he starts for West Ham.
It depends what he wants, how he wants to combat West Ham, and if he left Willock in there against Villa because it was almost a second ball of somebody, like if you can get the ball down, arrive late into the box and stuff like that. So
Willock gives you so much energy, though. Certainly for himself,
Bruno will.
He's giving you a lot of energy, and he's the real reason why I'll give him a lot of credit is he's willing to carry the ball. You know, he pinches it off a player and he'll carry the ball for you. He's not a finished article by any stretch. And is Bruno a better player? He probably is. Yes. I haven't even really seen much of Bruno, but he obviously is a better player than Joe Willock. But I'm such a believer in that. If you've got a system that's working and players that are in form, you've got to believe in them and stick with them. And that's what Howe's done so far. And I can't honestly see him dropping any of them. I think he'll say the same thing again of like, Bruno, I'm sorry, mate, but we've won 3 in a row and I can't drop these players unless they're hurt. Obviously, that's a different scenario, but I don't think we'll see him.
You don't change a winning team for me. Like, I'll always stand by that. And the performances, yes, we had a great win against Everton, great performance against Everton. We had a sloppy one against Villa, still got the points. I'm not changing that midfield. Like,
you've just almost had the opposite argument with Lascelles of when
it's a forced
him coming back in and stuff. Yeah, but come to the next game,
I don't bring him in either.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Not to bring him in, though.
When you look at Howe has always brought him back in.
I know he has.
Oh, yeah.
So you're saying you don't?
I think that's because but that's because he's captain. I think that's the only reason why.
I don't know.
But that very similar to the Bruno one there. Like for me, Byrne played so well. It'd be very harsh to drop him. Like, but then you go back a couple of days before that, Lascelles played really well. Yeah. So you know, it's.
But when you drop out of the team, it's going to be hard to get back in.
Lascelles must be. We would have watched that and thought, "Fuck, man." Like he was mint him. He's in my position.
Exactly. That's the first time those 4 played together.
Yeah.
You know, like and again, it was something telling that Byrne said in his post-match interview. He spoke about the fact that Dummett came on, that Kraft came on, and they said he said that they knew the job, they knew what they needed to do, they got straight into it because we practice it. This is how we play in training. This is what we do.
Thinking like that and speaking about that random free kick.
The one that put Shelvey, you whip it in. That was meant that. Like, so I don't know why you.
Everybody it looked pinpoint that everybody done what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, Trippier grabbed Shelvey before and pulled him across and went. He told him something, and Shelvey was like, "All right, okay." And then obviously it worked. Yeah. Like it was a lovely little ball in this actually from Shelvey. It didn't come to anything, but it was clever. It was nice. You know, it was different.
Yeah,
it's a strange one as well because in the run up to that game, there was loads of talk about Aston Villa and how good they are from set pieces and the fact they've brought in a set piece coach and all this kind of thing.
Do you see the one when they both want to take the same kick?
That's it.
They
were shocking.
There was another one where they just kicked it out of touch.
I thought, me being a bit daft probably, but at first I thought, have they done that on purpose? You know, when they were like, to then like offset us and then take it. Do you know what I mean? But then I thought, no, they haven't actually. They've just fucked it up. And they were very poor. A lot of them were overhit as well.
Henry and Perez.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was a couple where you could see they were trying to do something different.
Yeah.
And that it was a pre-planned move, but it just didn't come off. But some of them were just
shocking.
Woeful.
Yeah.
Really poor. Yeah.
Absolutely shocking. Anything to add before we end this one?
No, just as you mentioned, it's a bit of a kick with obviously the Trippier news. It would have been amazing to get through the game, winning it, and him still being fine and move on to the next one.
Are you concerned?
He's irreplaceable.
Or do you think momentum hopefully will get by?
Momentum's huge. Honestly, and I'll go back to someone who no one likes. Pardew said it. I remember where he said when the season went in his 5th, we just got a few wins under our belt, and everyone started to believe in them. The momentum carried we're through, and I think we're on that little crest of a wave now. I think it's pretty huge if Manquillo can be fit. If Manquillo can be fit, I wouldn't be as worried because Target would shot back in the left back.
So apparently, there's a few comments before. Eddie Howe came out and said it might be ligament damage to Manquillo, but I'm sure I saw.
Sorry,
looks like you're celebrating
Manquillo.
I know.
Oh, he's excited.
Jesus Christ. So Manquillo, but then I'm sure I saw Craig Hope tweet today saying that it might not be as bad as the first thought. I might be wrong, might not be Craig Hope, but I'm sure I saw that.
Well, he managed to play on for a bit, right? And I know he went off for that injury, but he was getting on all right. All we have to do is just wait and see. But if Manquillo was fit, right, I wouldn't be as concerned about the Trippier loss. But if Kraft's starting, well, my God Almighty, like from Trippier to him is
He
hasn't been terrible in his last couple of games. Yes, if you go off his history, he hasn't had the greatest of times here, but
put him in a winning team, he might see something different
since he's been coming back in the last couple of games.
Right, that's us done, everybody. Thanks very much for tuning in tonight, and thanks very much if you are listening to this back on audio on your podcast provider platforms. Been a pleasure as always. Thanks to people who have donated tonight, means a lot, and thanks to members as well. Decker, we'll sign out with the famous words.
Well, one,